The history of drifting, from four-wheel wobble to full throttle slide. Before we had fancy tire smoke, JDM legends, or Instagram influencers pretending they know how to drift, there was this guy. Tazio Nuvolari raced for Ferrari in 1930. He didn't have fancy computers, turbochargers, or even brakes. He just slid through corners like he was late for a pasta dinner, praying to whoever would listen that he didn't crash into a cliff. Alright folks, we're going way back in time to a little thing called the four-wheel drift, invented by Tazio Nuvolari, aka the Flying Mantuan. Yeah, it sounds fancy, but really, he was just a guy who had two speeds, fast and too fast. Picture this, Tazio tearing through dusty Italian roads on bald tires, flinging the car sideways around corners with all four wheels screaming for mercy. There was no TikTok to post his slides on, no audience of fanboys yelling, "Send it," just Tazio, probably yelling that was close, as he slid around each turn. He was superhuman. His driving style was so intense that people honestly thought he'd made a deal with the devil. Imagine flying around corners at insane speeds, dust flying everywhere, tires squealing, and a look of pure madness on his face. No fear, no seatbelt, no problem. When Nuvolari was racing, he wasn't just trying to win, he was trying to terrify physics itself. The Nürburgring race, 1935, Tazio faced his most legendary battle at the Nürburgring. In Germany, the crowd was massive. Adolf Hitler himself showed up to see what he thought would be a German victory in German-made cars. Germany had entered 5 silver racing machines from Auto Union and Mercedes-Benz, each one supposed to be untouchable. The German drivers had been briefed, they had to win, they had new, powerful cars, and they thought Nuvolari's little Alfa Romeo was going to be an easy target. What they didn't realize was that Nuvolari didn't care about new technology. Nuvolari was about sheer guts. Nuvolari's Alfa Romeo was outdated, underpowered, and looked like it belonged in a museum, but to Nuvolari, perfect. He was out there to prove something, not to any crowd but to himself. He revved up and started the race. The Germans, they just laughed. Well, they weren't laughing long. As the race started, Nuvolari's Alfa quickly fell behind. It looked like the Germans were set for an easy win, until Tazio started pushing that car like he was wrestling it. He slung it around each turn like it was nothing, doing his signature four-wheel drifts, powering through corners, refusing to give up. By lap 21, he was closing in, and by the end, he was in a full-throttle fight for first place. The entire stadium, Hitler included, was in shock. This guy in his little Italian car was smoking their latest, greatest machines. He overtook the entire German team and went on to win the race. And get this, when he finished, he looked completely unfazed, like he'd just taken a Sunday drive to the grocery store. The German audience was stunned silent, and Hitler was reportedly furious. Imagine Tazio crossing the finish line in his dusty old car, grinning ear to ear as the rest of the world realized this Italian had just beaten all of Germany's pride and joy on home soil. It wasn't just a win, it was an embarrassment for the German team and an instant legend for Tazio Nuvolari and Enzo Ferrari's admiration. Now, to put Nuvolari's talent into perspective, let's talk about Enzo Ferrari, the man who built Ferrari, the most famous car company in the world, called Nuvolari the greatest driver of the past, present, and future. Imagine being so good that the man who invented Ferrari thinks you're better than his cars. Enzo once said, "If you're a driver, you can drive. If you're a Nuvolari, you can fly." And fly he did. Nuvolari's devilish reputation. So, was it really a deal with the devil? People thought so. This guy was practically invincible. He had no fear, no brakes, or so it seemed, and some of the wildest races of all time under his belt. He broke bones, got concussions, you name it, but nothing ever stopped him. They'd see him barely able to walk before a race, then watch him leap into a car and defy death. It's no wonder rumors started that he'd made some kind of pact. But what really made Nuvolari a legend wasn't supernatural powers. It was sheer will. He once said, "I must win, but I am willing to die trying," and when he did, again and again. Tazio Nuvolari was the original daredevil on wheels, the man who defied Hitler, and the driver Enzo Ferrari wished he could build a car to keep up with. He left a legacy of pure courage, the likes of which motorsport may never see again. So next time you see someone sliding around a corner and think they're wild, remember Tazio, the man who drifted before drifting was a word, who beat Germany on their own track, and who made Enzo Ferrari himself. Believe in legends. Tazio Nuvolari, the man, the myth, the legend, and just maybe, the devil's favorite driver.